Hello guys. So on the 22nd of March 2025, YAH gave me this very vivid and very horrifying experience concerning the future of the island of Jamaica. YAH quite literally showed me that he's going to greatly reduce the population of Jamaica. Now, I'm not going to be able to fully explain the entirety of this experience because it's for a number of reasons, really. It's not possible for me to depict, to put in words what I saw and experienced. So I'll only try to share some of the things while giving interpretation of other parts. Now, in this experience, it started with me and a few people. We were in this store, and this store was in Jamaica. Now, this store was fully furnished, and it still had all the clothes that were selling in the store, regardless of the owner being killed literally like 3 years ago. And this was in the dream. The owner of the store had been murdered 3 years ago in this dream experience. And so me and a couple others were walking around in the store. That's how the experience began. Now, that part right there is pretty clear. The judgments that are coming to Jamaica are a result of several different sins, and one of them is murder. So that's what God was shown to me and what he wanted me to know. Now, it was as if suddenly we'd received news that we were going to have a tsunami. A tsunami is heading for the island. And so I remember seeing a great number of people running away from the shoreline, from the beaches, and heading towards the land. And while they were doing this, they were literally jumping on top of each other. They were running in panic, in the same way that you would to try to save your life, to try to escape. Because I could literally see them climbing on top of each other. Now, instinctively, myself, I started to run as well, but I had a head start way ahead of the other people. Now, I remember seeing very beautiful young women running beside me. I saw very young women with babies. Now, that was surprising after I had woken up from this experience. Young babies that were literally like around 1 year old. They were running with their babies in their hands and trying to find higher ground with everyone else to try to escape from this incoming wave that was reported that is coming to Jamaica. Now, I remember going up this very steep hill with others as well, and we were rushing up this hill in a panic. I remember even seeing ropes being thrown down this hill. The higher we climbed, the steeper it got. It got to the point where it literally, I remember this clearly, it appeared as if it was like at a 90-degree angle. That's how steep this hill was, or this mountain, rather. It was so steep that it appears as if it was like at a 90-degree angle, almost straight up. So someone, I don't know, it appears as if someone had thrown down ropes so as to help people to get up as high as they can. But then I heard someone said, take a look in your phone and check out the live streams that are on the beaches and see if you can see when the tsunami begins to come on land. And so I did exactly that in the vision. I took out my phone and I went on the live streams and I started watching. And then lo and behold, I saw the tsunami when it literally came upon the land. I could see it on my phone via the live streams and the cameras that they have installed all around the island. And so I saw when the tsunami came upon land. And so that made us even more panicked. And we were starting to climb even faster. So while we were still yet climbing up, the wave came on land and it started to rise. The water started to rise up on this mountain that we were on. And then people started drowning. A lot of people. Because not everyone had made it to the higher levels where they could escape the rising waters and the speed at which it was rising, because it was actually rising very fast. And so it would catch up on those who weren't high enough, and people were just being unalived from left to right because of the speed at which the water was rising. We didn't expect it to begin rising that fast. So while I went up even higher now, I went almost to the top of this mountain, and I'm thinking to myself, I think we should be pretty good right here, because I'd made it up there with a couple of others, and then we were all thinking that we should be good up there, whilst looking down and watching the waters rising and killing people drowning from left to right. We're thinking that, we're pretty high enough, so we don't think that it's going to get up there. So the waters kept rising, and it reached to a point where, now this is a part where I can't depict in words, so I'm just going to say that it reached to a point where it appears if it would stop and start to recede in the vision. I'm just going to say that. It appears if it would stop and then start to recede. So then we got a sigh of relief. And then we started to think that, we're lucky, we're blessed because we're going to be saved. But beloveds, it was at this point that I realized, I actually found out that this event, this tsunami, wasn't your natural tsunami. We're all aware that the evil ones, the elites, has the heart machine, which they use this to create earthquakes and cause even tsunamis and stuff. We know that man can create these disasters. But then in this experience, it was pretty much clear at this point, from what I'm about to tell you, that it was not a man-made event. This was a God-made event. God himself was doing it. And I was completely blown away. While we were on top of this mountain thinking that we were safe and these others had already died, so many of them, I think that, yes, we're going to be good now. The mountain that we were on started to slowly turn. And it now suddenly feels as if it's about to capsize. But when it started to turn, it was as if a clear understanding, information was given unto us, including myself, that this turning of the mountain was done by God himself. We knew crystal clear that it was God that was turning the mountain. So that I could know, even while in this vision, that it was God himself that was doing all of this. It wasn't an accident or coincidence. It was God. It was he himself that was literally causing the tsunami. He himself was the tsunami, and he was turning the mountain. So even all of these people who had reached the top of this mountain, thinking that they had escaped, they were safe, that was not the case. Because then something even more impossible started occurring. The mountain literally started to slowly lean to the left, as if it's getting ready to be overturned. And then it was as if the mountain literally flashed the whole of us off of it. Like it literally just flinged us off. And I could hear people screaming at that point, because there is nothing you could do to try to escape or to cling to the mountain. It just flung us off. And I heard a bunch of them made this scream, and they fell into the island, which was essentially submerged and already covered by the tsunami, which made me wonder if, will God eventually cover the entire island of Jamaica? Will it be completely submerged beneath the Caribbean Sea? Because in this experience, it appears that way. But then, this is what happened. In the same way how God worked and made sure that a great number of people were unalived, he removed them. He literally made sure that they were dead. In the same way he did Pharaoh's army. That's the same way he did to these people in Jamaica. In the same way how he made sure that they were dead, in that exact same way, he made sure that there were this group of people that were saved, that were preserved. Because then while the mountain flashed these people off, including myself, I found myself being gathered into, I'm going to call this part again, it's like a container. It's hard to describe. So I'm just going to call it container. I found myself being gathered into a container with some other people. And I was completely surprised because I expected to die, to be unalived like the rest of them. That's what I expected. I knew for a fact that I was gone. This was sure to me. So when I was being gathered instead into this container, that was a complete surprise. And I was in there with a bunch of people. Now, while I was in this container, I could see also across the rest of the land of Jamaica, there were several other huge containers with people that had been saved. I'm not even going to say survived, because it's not like they had survived by their own power and their own will. No. This was deliberately done by YAH and by God's hand. This was done by the hand of God. And I could see it was actually a great number of them, even more than I would think would be preserved from this catastrophe, from this disaster, from the mega tsunami. And then I saw them, a good number of them, in containers, and then immediately they broke out into the most beautiful harmonic singing I've ever heard on earth. I'll never forget this part of the vision. It sticks with me. I can hear it, and I know I'll continue hearing it for the rest of my life, because I've never heard any harmonic singing in this frequency here on earth that's anywhere near this beautiful, this heavenly. It was so beautiful. We all broke out singing, as a matter of fact. We were singing in perfect unison, and we were giving God thanks because it was actually the truth. We were so grateful, so thankful that He had saved us. And we were singing and thanking God for sparing us. Literally, we were thanking Him for blessing us with life and for sparing our lives. And it was so beautiful. The unity, the oneness, the harmony was unprecedented. I've never heard such harmony. When you think of harmony, you think of the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir. I love to hear their harmony, but this thing that I heard in this vision was on a next level. It's like nothing I've ever heard here on earth. It was very angelic, let's put it that way. This level of singing that the remnant that had survived this catastrophe was singing, it was angelic level singing. So that's when the experience had ended. And when I saw that part as well, where the remnant, the ones who were saved, were singing together, I'm thinking this is how the new millennium will start. God is going to reset Jamaica. And it's not only, I think this experience is not only for Jamaica in particular, I think it's global. God is going to remove certain people, and He's going to save some. He's going to make sure that some people are removed from the face of the earth. And the same way that He makes sure that some are removed, He's going to make sure that some are preserved. And these ones that are preserved, they are going to make it into the new millennium. I literally saw it. I've only heard of such things in preachings when I was a kid, and read it there in the Bible about the millennium reign of Christ. But now I get a glimpse, like I've just received an understanding of how it's going to occur. When YAH's judgments come later on, who knows? He knows how many years it is from now, because He actually shows me that there's going to be waves of judgments that are going to hit the land, and Jamaica as well. There are going to be multiple tsunamis, and they're going to get higher each time. But the mega tsunami, as He's shown me before, is going to be I wonder what words can one use to describe such a thing. It's going to sanitize the entire island. Because I literally saw that the mega tsunami will cover the mountains there in Kingston. Kingston will sink beneath the Caribbean Sea. It will cease from existing. And the new shoreline will be somewhere near around Linstead. I've seen it even more than once, so it is sure. This event is on multiple different timelines. It's not only just on one timeline. So it is inevitable, and it cannot be changed. It is. So this is what YAH is going to do to bring about the millennium kingdom of Christ. He's going to greatly reduce the population of Jamaica. And when He's finished, only a remnant will remain. And this remnant will live on into the millennium reign of Christ on earth. It will be a new Jamaica. Now, beloveds, I've tried my best to convey to you what YAH had shown to me on the 22nd of March. This whole experience was bigger than me, myself. And I myself don't even 100% comprehend everything in it and what YAH will do. I've only just conveyed to you as much as I understand and what I understand it to mean and what I've seen and what YAH has shown to me. Now be blessed and shalom from your brother in Christ.